The mythology of Inanna's descent. Queen Inanna is a Sumerian goddess, also known as Ishtar. She comes by many faces and many names in the time since then, but Ishtar and Inanna are her common used names. She is known as the goddess of love, sex, war, and power. She presides in the upper world. Her powers of seduction know no bounds. She could easily win others over, but this becomes part of her undoing. Her dark sister, her twin, Ereshkigal, is the queen of the underworld. Famously, she passes judgment on the deceased and has a story connected to her where she threatened the king of the gods that she would bring back all of the dead to life in exchange for her lover. She got her way. She's also known for fixing someone with the look of death. And instantly, their life was over. The two sisters, Inanna and Ereshkigal, the light and the dark. The Descent of Inanna. This is a story about Inanna, the Queen of Heaven, who goes to visit her twin sister, Ereshkigal, Queen of Death, who resides in the underworld. Inanna, also known as the Queen of Light, has been living in comfort and luxury in the upper world for a long time. Following a turn of events that could be attributed to Inanna acting from arrogance and selfish desire, the husband of her sister, Ereshkigal, has died. Now, it's important to know the two sisters have been at odds with one another for many years. Yet the story goes that she's being strongly called to visit the underworld. She ignores this pull for a while, but eventually it is pulling her so deeply she can hear it screaming her name. And so she decides to descend. Against the recommendations of her servant, Ninsibu, Inanna decides to venture down into the great womb of the underworld to attend to the funeral rites of her brother-in-law. She dresses in her finest clothes. She wears the crown of heaven on her head. She has beads around her neck, her breastplate, and a golden ring. She carries her scepter, the rod of power, and she wears her royal cloak. Before she departs, she gives Ninsibu instructions on how to come to her aid should she fail to return in 3 days. And then she sets off. Upon her arrival at the entrance to the underworld, Inanna knocks and demands entrance. The gatekeeper asks who she is, to which she replies, "I am Inanna, Queen of Heaven and Earth." He asks why she wishes entrance to the land from which no traveler returns. She answers, "Because of my sister, Ereshkigal. Her husband, Golgana, has died. I have come to witness the funeral rites." The gatekeeper tells her to stay where she is and goes to speak with the queen. When this news is delivered, the queen, Ereshkigal, it seems, is not pleased. She gives him instructions to bolt the 7 gates of the underworld and then to let Inanna in 1 gate at a time. The gatekeeper does as he is commanded. He tells Inanna to relinquish her royal crown, and only then he will open the gate. Her crown is a symbol of her royalty, power, and influence. She gives it up reluctantly, and then proceeds to the next gate. Into the dust and darkness of the great below she descends. At the second gate, Inanna stands tall and knocks. When asked again, "Who are you? Why are you here?" she again replies, "My name is Inanna, Queen of Heaven. I have come to see my sister." At this gate, she is asked to give up another item, her bracelet. Inanna agrees and passes through. At the third gate, she knocks more hesitantly and is again asked, "Who are you? Why are you here?" She replies as before, "My name is Inanna, Queen of Heaven. I have come to see my sister." This time, she is asked to give up her necklace to gain entrance. As she continues through each of the 7 gates of the underworld, she is asked to strip herself of the adornments she came with. At the 4th gate, she surrenders her scepter. At the 5th gate, she surrenders her gold breastplate. At the 6th gate, she surrenders her clothing. She's feeling increasingly more and more vulnerable. Little by little, this journey is making her weaker. At this point, she wonders if she should continue. She looks back from where she came, and yet the path behind her is gone. So she descends, wearing only her royal cloak. The walls of the labyrinth of the underworld are closing in around her. She begins to crawl on hands and knees, cutting her legs and the palms of her hands. The journey is hard, harder than she'd expected. Eventually, Inanna reaches the 7th gate. She taps on the door gently and says simply, "Hello, I am here." She's asked to hand in her final item to gain entry. And so she gives over her royal cloak and is now completely naked, stripped bare of everything: ego, title, and identity. After this long journey, she finally gains entrance to the underworld, naked, tired, and exhausted, weak and depleted. When Inanna enters the throne room of her sister, Ereshkigal, she is naked and barely alive. It is said that the queen looks upon her sister and immediately judges her, giving Inanna the eye of death. She announces her guilt, and in that moment, Inanna is condemned to die for her foolishness. Inanna immediately falls down. She's hung from a hook on the wall and left to die like a piece of meat. Ereshkigal, the unloved and shunned, grieves for her husband, while Inanna's body is left there for 3 days and 3 nights, hanging, dead. All is dark. Depression and stasis sets in. There is no hope. After the 3 days and 3 nights waiting for her mistress, Ninshubur follows the instructions given, going to Inanna's father god, Enki, for help. He sends 2 Galar, beings created neither male nor female, to aid in returning Inanna to the upper world. The Galar enter the underworld invisibly, like flies, and get very close to Ereshkigal. The Queen of the Dead is said to be in deep distress. Her hair swirled around her head, barely clothed, her breasts uncovered. It was as if she was experiencing the pains of labor and grief. The Galah sympathize with her pain and offer her comfort. Once comforted, in gratitude, she offers them whatever gift they ask for. As ordered by the god Enki, they respond, "We wish only for the corpse that hangs from the hook on the wall." Queen Ereshkigal gives the body to them. The Galah attempt to revive Inanna, but without success. After repeated attempts, eventually, Ereshkigal steps in. She was watching from the darkness, and she gives her sister a sacred elixir. Almost immediately, Inanna rises. Shortly thereafter, she begins to make her way back to the upper realms. She revisits each of the 7 gates on her way out. It is said that she decides to leave everything behind and return to the upper world, humbled, forever changed. The woman she was when she entered the underworld died, but a new woman, a new queen was born in the process. She feels stronger than ever, transformed from her journey into the great below. If this mythological story touched you, as it does me every time, and you would like to work with Inanna more deeply, we explore her in Wisdom of the Dark. Details below. Hello. If we've not met, I am Bree Taylor Molyneux, and my work crosses the precipice of 3 key areas: Eros, the erotic life force that moves through us; devotion as a woman and devotion as a spiritual mystic being; and sacred union, the path that we as women have in union with masculine men, feminine and masculine yin and yang. Eros, devotion, and union. These aren't just concepts, they're pillars of the approach that I embody, live, and teach. Foundational energies that I believe guide every woman in our lives, particularly when we want to embody life in a different way. But sometimes we forget. We disconnect from our bodies, from our pleasure, from our eros, from the love we know or desire as possible. My work is here to help you remember all of that through your body, through embodiment, through somatic practice, through deep ritual, through coming home to yourself. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I look forward to supporting you however you choose.